Hi, my name is Lauren and welcome to TV 1061. Join our network and broadcast your film live across the continent. Come to our studio and film and stream your TV show, sitcom, and showcase and broadcast it worldwide. Combine multimedia with your live stream. Independent filmmakers show your movie and afterwards interview your cast live. Sponsors, advertisers, I'm talking to you. This is your chance for global exposure. These are exciting times that we're in. Traditional TV is but a thing of the past. TV 1061 is on the Roku platform. Roku is an industry leader in internet TV. It has a viewership of 53 million and counting. It is the most popular and fastest growing internet TV platform. If you are interested in developing and showcasing your movie or show, or interested in coming in as a sponsor or advertiser, please send us your contact information with a brief description of your interest to 1061tv@gmail.com. Thank you. Hi, my name is Lauren and welcome to TV 1061. Join our network and broadcast your film live across the continent. Come to our studio and film and stream your TV show, sitcom, and showcase and broadcast it worldwide. Combine multimedia with your live stream. Independent filmmakers show your movie and afterwards interview your cast live. Sponsors, advertisers, I'm talking to you. This is your chance for global exposure. These are exciting times that we're in. Traditional TV is but a thing of the past. TV 1061 is on the Roku platform. Roku is an industry leader in internet TV. It has a viewership of 53 million and counting. It is the most popular and fastest growing internet TV platform. If you are interested in developing and showcasing your movie or show, or interested in coming in as a sponsor or advertiser, please send us your contact information with a brief description of your interest to 1061tv@gmail.com. Thank you.
Hi, I'm your host, Mercury's Rises, and welcome to Bedroom Chronicles, the show where couples or singles go deep, cut the crap, and face the real questions that make or break relationships. The show is informative and mesmerizing. Tonight, we are putting love on the hot seat. Are they being honest with each other, or are they just saying what is safe? Let's find out if real love starts when real truth is spoken. We have call-in guests and live interviews. Whether you heal together or apart, you owe each other honesty. That's it for tonight's Bedroom Chronicles. Until the next time, don't fake the love, face the truth. Okay. Hello and welcome back to Bedroom Chronicles. I am Mercury Rises, your host, and today we will be discussing a few questions related to relationships. And those questions going to be along the line are you ready for that relationship? And if you are ready, you need to know how to be open, honest, and real. So if you'd like to call in, the call-in number is 770-485-7724. Also, we love donations. And Cash App, you can Cash App us at TV 1061. No, $ TV 1061 for any donations you are willing to send this way. We highly appreciate it. So moving right along, if you want to call in, remember 770-485-7724. I'm here to 2 p.m. So the first question is, when you have a relationship and that relationship has been damaged for whatever reason, let's say you cheated, he cheated, and it doesn't have to be any type of relationship. It could be that you're boyfriend, girlfriend, or you're married. It'll work in either way. So let's say there's been some damage. and you don't know how to move forward from that damage or repair that damage. So the number one thing is forgiveness. So first, you forgive yourself for hurting your partner. And some people might say, well, if it's and they don't have to be a breakup, it just could be just that one misunderstanding or miscommunication or that one infidelity, whatever the reason might be behind it. So you're gonna forgive your partner. No, you forgive yourself. Man, woman, you forgive yourself first. But in the relationship, sometime one person may get through the hurt process quicker than the other. So let's say the woman is taking a little longer to heal. But so she's watching her partner, her other half, she's watching her other half, how he is reacting. So he's just moving around like nothing happens. He's not sad, he's not moving around, he's going to work, hanging out with his friends, doing his everyday thing, like it didn't even faze him a little bit that he hurt her. But she is still stuck in her mind that, oh, he's taking this too lightly, too easy. He hasn't done anything or said anything, and in some instances, maybe he didn't even apologize for what he did. So how is she supposed to move forward from that? So based on right now the interactions between the couple, things are not too good, because things not going to be good in the house, things not going to be good with their interaction in the house, things not going to be good with them in the bedroom, because she's still feeling some kind of way. When these things happen, you need to try to heal it or start healing it right then. And one thing is, and it's always communication, so you sit, if it's let's say, I'm going to put it like it's the man's fault, as always it usually is, we're going to put it on him. So let's say that he realizes that it's some tension and he wants to decrease the tension in the room and find out what the problem is. Some people say, oh, let's find out what the pink elephant in the room is. Okay, so we're going to work on that. So first thing that I would suggest that he do is schedule some time where it's just the two of them with no interruptions, where they can have a deep conversation about what is, that he sensed that there is something still bothering her about what happened in the past. Whether that past a week, couple of months, or even a year, he's still picking up on some of her distancing from him based on whatever the interaction was. So he scheduled some time, how much time that's going to be, a couple of hours, and might be longer than that. Might be you start at 7 and you don't finish until 12, or you stay up all night. Sometimes you have those conversations where you stay up all night long till the sun come up the next morning, just talking about trying to iron it out. And a lot of times that works because you're putting in effort. So that's the first thing. The second thing is no blaming on his part and no blaming on her part. You just want to smooth it out. You just want all the differences that you all experienced to move it out of the way, so that she can heal. Evidently he already has, so that she can heal. So that he can know what it is that she is still holding on to. As men know, women are emotional. And then when it comes to emotional aspects of stuff, things last longer with women. And with that much said, I think the man also needs to allow his partner or other half to voice whatever it is that she's feeling or going through without interrupting, without giving their opinion. Yeah, you can get your pencil and paper and take some notes to the side, so when she's finished telling you all the things that she's going through or was going through, or how she feel that you were not considerate of her feelings, or that you moved on a little too quick based on you was the one that caused the pain and suffering for her. So that was a long number one. So the next one, number two, I think you all should know that in any relationship, you're going to make mistakes. So even though you apologize, sir, you still need to let her know that you are aware that it was a mistake. It was a huge mistake. And don't say you're never going to do it again, because you don't know what you're going to do next. Don't never say, in life with her in this relationship, don't say you don't know what you're going to do, because you don't say you never do it again, because you don't know what you're going to do. Things come up, things happen out of the blue. So, but just let her know that you're working on it. It's a work in progress, and that it's not your intention to do anything to hurt her or him, ma'am. So if you're in a committed relationship, even if you're just getting to know each other, mistakes happen, but you need to not be ready to just run when a mistake happens. You need to work through the mistakes. So, and then well, so next question. I'm going to go back to last week. Last week we talked about, do you love yourself? Or are you just going on these dates and hanging out with the opposite sex to fill the gap? What are your non-negotiables? And we talked about, are you healed, or are you just distracting yourself? And I'm going to go with that one, because are you healed or just distracted? And the young lady that called in, she wanted to know how you could tell if you're healed. And my point to her was, if you can, so let's say in January, you and your ex had a conversation, and then he or she says something that caused you to respond in a way that you had no idea you would respond. Okay. So I would say, just based on you responding to something of that, whatever it was, in a negative way, or in a way that you caught on to it yourself, that I shouldn't respond like that, then you still have some healing to do. But if you responded to the question, and the question could have been something like, I'm going out of town. Oh, let's say I'm going out of the country for a few days, and I'm going to be by myself. So I invited a couple of friends of mine to come along, and only thing they have to do is just buy their own ticket. Everything else is taken care of. But I thought, I'm thinking in my mind, well, what friends did you invite? Because I'm your best friend, and you didn't invite me. So then I would say, well, so I would feel, that would make me feel some kind of way that you invited your other friends, but I'm your best friend and you didn't invite me. And that's if, no, I'm your best friend and your ex. So that would make me feel some kind of way. But if I didn't have any kind of residual feelings for that person as a friend, then that's gonna not bother me that much. I'll be like, oh, okay, well, safe travels, send me some pictures, let me know how things are going, call, make sure you don't drink too much, and let me know when you're on your way back, and that kind of hunky-dory stuff. But anyway, so please call in 770-485-7724. Let's get this fired up. Come on. And while I'm waiting on someone to call in, this is my book, Men in My Bed, True Love is Hard to Find, Relationship Chronicles. Let's talk about the book for a minute. So how did I come up with that particular title, Men in My Bed? So it was a period of time when I was going through some stuff. So I'll put it on me. And the stuff I was going through was relationship based. So I was not married, not engaged, but I was seeing one person. And then that particular relationship, take notes. That particular relationship was good in a sense, but on the sexual end of it, half of it was missing. So I'll say there was intimacy, but then there wasn't enough. And it's kind of strange, but not in a bad way. And I think it was strange, and you can be in a relationship with someone and not actually have penetration doing sex. I'll say it like that. But so that's the part that was not there. But overall, all the other things that include sex, that was pertaining to sex, was good. Sometimes great. But anyway, so then I went on this trip for work, and I met this, and I took like maybe 5 people with me for work, and then I met this guy. So we got to this place, Charleston, South Carolina. So we got there, went and had lunch before we even checked into the hotel. So this guy, one of my stewards, he said, well, my brother's coming. I said, is that a problem? I said, no, that's fine. He can join us for lunch. So he came in, he joined us for lunch. So then I saw this man. He was like, I don't know, 6'7", I guess. I'll say he was like 6'7". He was tall. So I definitely know he's more than 6'5". So he comes in, he has on this T-shirt and shorts and tennis shoes. And I mean, my eyes went from, it took a couple of seconds for it to get from his toes to his head. So then, and he's very attractive too. So, and I was like, that's your brother? Because, so the brother that's working with me, he's like 6'5". He looks good too, but this particular brother is his older brother, so he looks really good to me. So he sit down, and I don't know what came over me. Must have been Sasha. So I was in a different mode. I just started. I don't know. It was a different person. So she said, he said, can I join? I was like, sure. Why don't you come sit right here in front of me? So we at the table, so you can sit across from me at the table. So I actually asked him to sit right there, and then everybody else move on down. So then we ordered, and then we left. Everybody had dinner, and I'm just questioning him like he's on an interview. So what do you do? And he's talking about some coaching and all that kind of stuff. So basketball. And then we went to the grocery store to get some items before we actually checked in. Did that. And we walking around in the grocery store, went to a couple of department stores, and he was telling me, oh, if I bought this dress, I think you would look good in it. Would you wear it? I'm like, of course I will. So I'm at the looking at the dresses, and then I had to look up at him like that, and it's like, wow, this man is a gorgeous giant. So then we went back to the grocery store, and I couldn't reach something on the top shelf. So then I'm 5'9", flat foot. So then he said, "Oh, I'll get that for you," and he got it down and handed it to me. And then we just walking through the store, and I know I must have been under his breast line for my height, but so it was a kind of interesting, intriguing day as it went on for us. So he said, "Well, I got a game later, so I'm gonna go to the game. It's nice meeting you, and I'll call you after the game if it's okay with you." So I gave him my number, and he could call me. Then we went and we checked in, and then since I had his number too, I just called him and said, "Okay, this is my number. This is the room number that I'm in. Call me, and if you have time when you finish with your game, stop by." So he said, "Okay, I'll come by when after the game." So I think it probably was like 10 or 11. The game was over. Well, probably 10 or 11 when he called me after the game was over. Good story. So then he comes over, and he comes, and I said, "Well, I'm gonna let you in through the side door instead of walking through the lobby, because my people were still out there in front of the lobby, my private business." But anyway, so he comes to the side, and I'll go and open the door. So now I already took my shower, and I got this thing about these big old white towels that the hotels have. So I just wrapped a big towel around me and a big towel on my head, and I just left the door ajar with the little piece on the door that you don't have to lock it. And I went back. So I said, "Well, it's okay with me if you stay tonight. I left you some towels if you want to take a shower." So, and I know, I just know he was thinking, this woman is too bold. She just coming on, like. So then we sit and talk for a little while and watch TV. We talk about our families and stuff, and work and watch TV. Then he said, "Okay, I'll take you up on that shower." So he went, did whatever he wanted to do, get the shower, and that particular towel wasn't really enough to cover all of him, but I didn't see anything. So, but he kept everything closed off. So I said, "Well, you can stay." I said, "I have to be to work by 7:30. He said, "Okay, that's good," because he had to be there working by 5. So then I said, "We could sleep like this." So I learned this from my great-grandmother. She, if only she knew that I knew. So it's the top sheet, and the bottom sheet. So I would sleep on the bottom sheet, and then the top sheet come on top of me. Then he would sleep on that particular sheet. Then we pull the covers up. And honey, my body was talking to me that night. So it's like, I don't know if men do this, or I know women do. If it's something that they're interested in, your body talks to you and your mind is talking to you, meaning that your body is giving you certain sensations. And normally the sensation is coming from your private area. It's just pulsating so hard. Then you got these, the good angel and the bad angel on your shoulder. I'll say that. So you got one's like, "Girl, what you doing? Why are you letting all of this? Why are you passing up on all this? What are you waiting on?" And I'm just laying there like, wow. He's laying there like this, and it's his arm hanging off the side of the bed on this side and on this side, and I'm just laying in his arms, and he didn't move the whole time until it was time for him to get up. He did not move. He just stayed there and slept. He didn't even go to the restroom, neither did I. But I was like, wow, this is so nice. I slept in his arms all night. And he didn't roll over to hug me or anything. He just let me sleep in his arm and cuddled up to him. So that was the first night. So of course I had some extra warm feelings the second night. So it's in the book. But man in my bed, so that's the first man. No, that's the second man. Because the first man is the one that I eventually get engaged. So after the Charleston trip, I come back to Georgia and then I go see my friend. Because it hasn't been established that we are boyfriend and girlfriend, but we hang out together. We do everything, that a couple would do. And he's the person that I was talking about last week. I said, well, he never said I love you, it was just understood. I guess he didn't have to say he was my boyfriend, it was just understood that he was my boyfriend. But anyway, so then I come back and I tell him, the young man, I'll say Bob. I told Bob that, well, Bob, I met someone that I'm interested in and I'm going to be seeing him, but I don't have a problem seeing you and him. It's on you if you want to continue to see me. So Bob was quiet for a minute. I guess he was thinking about it. And I just went moving along. Didn't really think too much about how Bob was feeling about anything because it's me, my body, my mind, my soul. I got to deal with. Oh, sorry. But anyway, it's me. So if he wanted to tag along, that was fine. So like a couple of weeks passed, and I'm at another training downtown Atlanta at the Hilton or Hyatt or something. And I'm there for like 4 days. So then Bob called and said, oh, I want to take you out to dinner, and we're going to go to Ruth's Chris. I was like, okay. And that pissed me off. Let me tell you why that pissed me off. I was like, Ruth, after he hung up, I said, Ruth's Chris? This man been taking me to McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and Applebee's and Longhorns. No problem with Applebee's and Longhorn. I don't really care for McDonald's. But anyway. And now he talking about Ruth Chris. So then something came up for work and we had to stay over for that particular, it was like a convention. We had to stay a day over. So then I had to reschedule with him. So then I called them and I said, I apologize, but I'm not going to be able to make it. We can schedule for another day. So he did. I think it was that weekend, probably that Saturday or Sunday he did. So, but this time, I said, well, no, it was Friday. So I said, well, you can just pick me up from work Friday and we can just go down the street to Longhorn and I'll be good. I'm good with that. So that's what he did, but he came in on his new outfit and his new shiny black shoes. I was like, did you have a doctor appointment today? He's like, nah, I said, because you got on your new shiny black shoes that you wear to your doctor appointments. And we laughed it off. And he went, look, not expecting this. So we go to Longhorn and we order the food. And just before the waiter brings the drinks out, and then I see him getting on his knees in Longhorn. And my waiter, he was a nice looking gay guy. And honey, he did some flipping around in there. He was happier than I was. I thought he was the one getting engaged. But anyway, so I was a little shocked, and I was very shocked about that. Because we never talked about that. We never talked about engagement. We never talked about marriage, none of that. He just came full 360 and boom, ring. Nice ring, mind you not. So then he proposed. He was real nervous. And so he got on his knees and he was proposed. And I said, oh. And he asked and I said, yes. And I really didn't want to say yes, but it was the restaurant full of people, so I said yes. And it kind of bothered me a little bit how it was done, but that's his way of doing it. But anyway, I said yes. So then he put the ring on my finger, and then we sit and chat for a little bit, and then went to his house afterward, and spent the night and that kind of stuff. So then here we go again. So I'm still in the back of my mind got this guy here from Charleston. So now what am I going to tell him? So I'm trying to recall it to the exact. So now I'm not going to Charleston for work. I'm just driving to Charleston to see him. So even in the weeks before he gave me the ring and I accepted it, I was still going to Charleston to see this man over here. So I come back and some time passed here. Then he said, I'll say about a month passed. And he said, well, he came to the job. He said, well, when we just go get married today? Nice song, right? Let's go get married today. So I said, what? He said, yeah, courthouse right down the street. You can just go get married on your lunch break. And I'm like, So I said, okay, I had nothing else to do. So I said, okay. So I called my daughter and I asked her to come, be the witness. And we went, it's on like a 5-minute down the street, drive down the street from my job. And we went and he was nervous, very nervous again. He was so nervous, he was shaking like he was an alcoholic going through withdrawals. And anyway, and I'm standing there and I'm looking at him. I'm calm, cool, collected. I said, okay. Is he doing something that he don't want to do? Why is he doing it like this? I always have this silent dialogue with myself. But anyway, I did it. So then we said I do. And then we went to, after work, we went to dinner. I went to dinner with his family. Not my family, his family. Because his sister was in town. So anyway. And that went on. No big conversation. So then I ended up going back to Charleston for a trip to let the other guy know that I got married. So apparently when I got there to tell him, his brother had already told him because his brother worked with me because he saw the ring. And then he asked me, did I tell him? I said, no, I didn't tell him. I said I was going to go down there and tell him. So I did. So then he came and brought, we met up at the hotel and in Charleston, me and the Charleston man. And he brought a gift bag, big, like grocery shopping gift bag. And I said, okay. And so he was acting like nothing was wrong, but a little quiet. So then I said, well, so he still has some things to do, so I just stayed in the hotel room. And I said, well, I'll get dinner for us while you go do what you got to do, and that's what I did. And then he came back. So then he said, well, why did you do it? And I told him why I did it. He said, well, I would have accepted it, but then when I got to just the two of us being alone, I would have declined it if that's not what you wanted to do. So I thought about it. Then I said, well, and I know the Charleston man, he was seeing other people. So I kind of just weighed the two. So the Charleston man, he was seeing other people. But the Bob over here, Bob wasn't seeing anybody else. Bob was a homebody. Good guy, homebody, with a little, some flaws, but not flaws. Yeah, some flaws that I could work with for a little while. But it got to the point where those flaws were a little overwhelming, and then I just break it off altogether. So then I think we probably stayed married for about 4 years. And then so I think in the 3rd year I filed for the divorce, but he wouldn't sign the papers. So then I said, well, I think you should sign the papers while I'm not asking for anything. Because I came into the relationship with nothing. So I didn't feel that comfortable taking anything from him when I left. So whatever he had, that's his, and whatever was mine was, when I got there, was mine, I took it. So it was some issues that I had with the marriage that I felt that wasn't gonna be any room for growth, because he was just too stuck in his ways, especially when it came to family affairs, like your children, your grandchildren. Those things are very important in a relationship, especially if you're an older couple and you get married. We didn't have discussion that we should have had about finances, because our finances were separate. He took care of his household, and then I was still taking care of my home and my household. There wasn't no togetherness there. He didn't even ask. So then I think the only problem he may have had with me is when I went out with my friends, my girlfriends. So it was two ladies that from work I used to hang out with, and we would go like on a day trip to the casino or something like that. And at least one of the other ladies, she's been married. She's been married for a good while. And the other young lady, was single. So, and I don't think he had a problem with them, because they weren't people that would come over to visit me at the house. We just got together at work, and then we would get together and go to no further than Alabama to the casino or something like that. But he would get an attitude if something like that came up. But he was never rude or disrespectful or cussing, not toxic. He wasn't toxic at all in that way. He just had some old ways that he was just the type of person where it was just, he still treated me like it was only him in the relationship. No, if we a couple, you need to make room for my clothes in your closet. You need to not tell me I'm not in your budget. Not when you're married. Those kind of things rub me kind of the wrong way. Or you treat my kids different from the way you treat your kids. No, they're our kids. We treat them all the same way. So those kind of stuff. Well, it's time for a commercial. Be right.
Take a look.
So you look in your rear view mirror and see flashing blue lights. What do? Remain calm. Yield to the right and pull your vehicle over into an off-road area that is safe for both you and the officer. Put your car in park. Remove your foot from the brake and turn the radio off. Remain in your vehicle. Have your driver's license readily available for the officer. Keep your hands on the steering wheel, visible for the officer at all times. If you need to retrieve any items from the interior, explain what you're reaching for to the officer and avoid any sudden movements. Rolling the window down completely establishes a level of trust with the officer and allows for ease of interaction during the routine traffic stop. Be courteous and polite. Be cooperative and willing to follow the officer's instructions. During a routine traffic stop, the officer will return to his vehicle to run the tag and driver's license verification and complete a citation if one is necessary. Once the officer returns and approaches your vehicle, whether or not a citation or warning is issued, please remain calm, courteous, and cooperative. Sign the citation acknowledging you agree to appear in court, and do not dispute the citation with the officer. The officer will give you a court date to explain or defend your infraction.
Okay, ma'am. Like I told you, I did clock you at 51 in a 35 mile per hour speed zone. I did issue a citation, okay? This here is going to be your court date. I just need a signature from you stating that you received a copy of this citation, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Here's your driver license.
Thank you.
Along with a copy of the citation, okay? You have any questions or concerns for me?
No, sir.
Okay, well, you have a nice day, okay?
Thank you.
Thank
too.
you.
Following these few simple steps will help ensure a safe interaction for both you and the officer.
I hope these few tips help you as it relates to dealing with law enforcement and traffic stops. Not only in traffic stops, but in all encounters with law enforcement. We hope that all our encounters are safe for the citizens as well as for our officers. Again, we want you to be safe, and if you have any problems with the Douglasville Police Department, don't hesitate to give us a call and make your concerns known. I would add that Georgia is a right to carry state, and we hope that if you are carrying, that on these traffic stops and all encounters, please let the officer know that you are carrying. This will ensure your safety and our officers' safety. Thank you, may God bless you, and may God keep our community safe. We are one.
Hi, I'm your host, Mercury's Rises, and welcome to Bedroom Chronicles, the show where couples or singles go deep, cut the crap, and face the real questions that make or break relationships. The show is informative and mesmerizing. Tonight, we are putting love on the hot seat. Are they being honest with each other, or are they just saying what is safe? Let's find out if real love starts when real truth is spoken. We have call-in guests and live interviews. Whether you heal together or apart, you owe each other honesty. That's it for tonight's Bedroom Chronicles. Until the next time, don't fake the love, face the truth. Bedroom Chronicles, I'm Mercury Rises, your host. And today, of course, like I said, from 1 to 2, we talk. We are talking about relationship and when should you know that you need to work on your relationship, when should you know whether you need to leave that relationship, and when should you know that there should be forgiveness between the two parties. But then I also was talking about my book, Men in My Bed, True Love is Hard to Find, Relationship Chronicles, and how I came up with this title. So I was talking about the 3 men. Now I'm on number 2. So the first man was my ex-husband. The second man was, and I called him Bob. And the second man was this Charleston giant that I met. And I'm going back and forth now between the ex-husband and the Charleston giant. So the ex-husband, I think he just probably used a little bit of trickery here. But anyway, he's smooth moving. Because he slid right in first base without getting it out. So, but I'm still stuck on this Charleston guy. But the reason I was stuck on this Charleston giant is because he was giving me the intimate part and the emotional part and the attention that I wasn't getting on from Georgia, from Bob. And when those feelings hit me, it was like, wow, this is intense. So how can I not allow myself to feel these type of feelings with this person, even though the person that I'm married to is not in touch with those type of feelings. And if he is, he keeps them closely to himself. It's just between him and himself if he is. So now to be with Bob, I can't. I'm actually feeling sick just laying next to Bob, being in the house with Bob. I'm just feeling sick, can't take it, to the point where I can only be in that particular house 2 or 3 days and I'm back to my house. So and that's when I decided I'd just go ahead on and pull out these divorce papers and told him that I wanted a divorce because it just wasn't going to work for me because it was just halfway situated. I needed the whole thing. And then, so it's not that I started spending more time with the man Charleston after I filled out the divorce papers and even up to the divorce. So even with all of that, me and Bob still had a better relationship without the word marriage in there. So I would just go and spend some time with him, or he'll call and say, let's go to this, do this, and let's go do that. And I was like, okay. So then the things that I actually had a problem with Bob with, I told him I gave him a list of those things. And over the years, I think it's probably been, I would say over the last 10 years, I've noticed that he has worked on those things. He has a better understanding now of those things, because now he even have more kids, or grandkids rather. And he didn't have any at the time, but now he has quite a few. So he understand that part. He understand about family, and that is when you got family, you can't just be an individualist. You have to be conclusive with everybody in your family. So that's that. So I guess you can say we parted on good terms. And then Charleston, that night, Lord. So we just kept the lights out. It wasn't nothing intimate going on but Charleston Giant. We just talked. It's one of those long conversations as to why. And it was like, okay, I do have these feelings for you. And he said he had those feelings for me. But I know you out there, you're a gunslinger out there now. So I know that. And we just let that be that. So as time passed, that kind of faded away too. So then he started seeing somebody. Charleston started seeing someone else. He was seeing the person all along, but he started seeing the person on a more frequent basis, to the point where they got engaged. Then they ended up getting married like 2 years later after COVID started and that kind of stuff. But he was still like send me, oh, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Birthday, Happy Valentine. Oh, a couple of months, oh, I was thinking about you. Oh, I was reminiscing. And I'll be like, okay, thank you. And at first I was like, this return, Merry Christmas and the Thanksgiving. Then I stopped, because I wanted those feelings to just go away. So when I stopped responding, things just got off to the wayside. And then even if it was last week or last month and he sent me a hello or something, I just didn't respond, because now it's been about 7 years, so you should be happy in your marriage and not reaching out to an ex for any reason. But anyway, but I did suggest that he call in today. He out there, Doc. But anyway, so these two, that's two of the three. Two of the men in my bed. So then so divorce is filed. It's not final, but it's filed. I'm not going to Charleston anymore. Then I meet this other guy. So then I was talking to one of my coworkers, Stephanie. Good girl. Maybe not. But anyway, at the time I was like, Stephanie, can you read this for me? And I was like, I said, it's a chapter from my book that I'm writing. And I said, I want to know if it's erotica. And she said, girl, I'm not reading that shit to be sitting up at work for the next 3 hours all hot and bothered with myself. I said, she said, I got a friend that he does that kind of stuff. I'll put you in touch with him, and then he can read it, and y'all do that kind of stuff. I was like, okay. So she actually called him, her friend, while I was in her office, and he said that he was in New York with his visiting his cousin, but this is what he's telling her. He didn't know I was sitting there, and he can get with me when I come back, and I can just email him my stuff. So that's what I did. So then I emailed him. I think I emailed him the chapter, or maybe I didn't. But I wanted him to, because I wanted him to read it. So then, however it went, I printed out a copy. He gave me the spot to meet him at. So I never been there before. Someplace down the street from work, not too far for him, not too far for me. But anyway, so we go over there. When I got there, no, I went inside and I sat down first, I think, and then he came up, and then I waved him, showed him where I was at. So he sat down, and it was starting to get dark. So we introduced ourselves. Hey, I'm Mercury's. And he's like, hey, I'm this person, and I'm Jack. So then I said, well, Jack, this is the chapter that I'm interested in you reading, and since you already wrote a book about erotica, then I just want to get your opinion to make sure I'm on the right track. So he said, okay. So then he read it. Well, he was reading it. Then the lights got dimmer in the room, so then he couldn't see. So then I used a light from my phone so he could see to read it. And I was paying attention to him as he was reading it. Like he was like laughing, licking his lip, and I saw some sweat on his forehead. I said, it must be erotica. So then I asked him out loud. I said, so is it erotica? He said, oh yeah, this is definitely true erotica. I said, oh, okay then. And then and I think we may talk 10 or 15 minutes after that. And then I left. I said, okay, thank you. And I was get up to leave, and he walked me to the door, and then he complimented me on my shoes, and I said, oh, that's nice. And then I don't know if it was a valet or something. It must have been valet where he parked his car, because he had a Brooklyn tag on the back. So then Brooklyn or Crooklyn something was on the back. So anyway, I said, okay, well, if as I write, I'll send you the chapters and you can let me know. He said, okay, cool. And he did. So then then some time went by, and I think a couple of weeks might have passed before we exchanged numbers. Before he called me. And then, before he called me, we didn't even exchange numbers during that time. We just had emails, they're like your AOL or whatever, Yahoo address. Then he asked me in email if we could exchange numbers, and we did. So then we started communicating a little bit like that. But anyway, part of the conversation is, so some people can write erotica, but can they actually perform what they are writing? So then I was thinking, well, he probably just want to explore to see if I can put words to action. Which that's what I thought. And then I was thinking later on, I said, okay, he a player. And I think he did admit that he was as well. But anyway, long story short. So we end up having a situationship for a minute. And then it ended. And then I was like, well, I think I need to show him a different side of me. So then I went back. Meaning that after the situationship was over with, I initiated a return. And so when I initiated a return, I just showed him a side that he hadn't seen or experienced. So then, and after I was finished with that, that was good for me. That was enough. I don't know what you would call it, a one-up or something, but I wasn't really one-upping him. I just wanted him to see, okay, you saw that side of me, now you need to see this part of me, because you didn't see the whole me. You didn't get to experience the whole me. So then I let him experience the whole me. And then I think he was engaged to see someone else, to marry someone at that time, but she didn't live in this state. So, and that was a little bit hard for me, but I mustered through it because I wanted to prove a point. I'm not gonna tell you what the point was about. It's in the book what the point was. It's in here. So, and all the details from the situationship is in here. Exactly how it went, what we did, things we did, like were intimate, all kinds of stuff. You know, the Remy is in here, all that kind of. Remy is just a little hand maneuver for the penis that he seemed to really enjoy. But anyway, back to so after the situationship, and then his engagement was off, and then because it was like a jury trial. Once you can put reasonable doubt in somebody's mind, the what is it? The jury's mind, then more than likely that person gonna be found not guilty. So I put some reasonable doubt in his mind that no, you need to explore this a little bit more, and the engagement is not gonna work. That's not the person you supposed to be with. So moving right along, still on. I'm gonna call him. Oh, I'll just call him. Was in the book Jimmy. So he's Jimmy. So Jimmy had few chances. So that's two chances right there for Jimmy. But when I was with Jimmy, there wasn't the Charleston man wasn't involved, and yeah, there might have been a couple of visits still with Bob, but it was nothing intimate. Just maybe Bob came up with a problem with one of the daughters, and he wanted to talk about what. Oh, sorry. But anyway, so I can say Jimmy broke my heart quite a few times. First time it happened. Second time I went back, I got some relief. Third time, third time, oh my goodness, the third time was hard. So maybe this was Jimmy get me back. So what Jimmy did was, I think it was during part of COVID time. So, and I know Jimmy's sitting in his office talking to these ladies on the phone or on the computer or whatever. And I know he's not the type of person to just cut everything off and everybody off from the past that he dealt with, and meet some new people in the progress. But anyway, so Jimmy, I would go back and forth to work, drive back and forth to Alabama and Georgia. Now I'll stay 1 week. I'll stay in Alabama for 3 days. The next week I'll stay in Alabama for 2 days just for work. So, and then when I get off from work that Thursday when I'm coming home, I'll just go straight to Jimmy's house and he'll have dinner prepared and that, and I'll spend the night. And then Saturday I'll just go home. Saturday morning I go home. And I think Jimmy must have 4 chances. So that ended. Yep, that ended. So maybe that lasted for a few months. Then that ended, and then Jimmy comes back again. His initiation. So he, out of the 4 times, one was mutual, 1 was me, and 2 was him. So this time now, this is the hard one right here. He invites me over for dinner and said a conversation. The dinner and a conversation, okay. So then he pulls out these questions. Now this is not in this book, but it's gonna be in the next one. At the sequel. So then Jimmy is asking, he comes out with he said this, and how you, depending on how you answer these questions is going to depend on whether we be together or not. And then, I got that little busy bee back here, and she's telling me, okay, what makes him think I want to be with him. But I'm listening, so I answer all the questions. Like, he had like maybe, I'll say 15, 20 questions. I answered them all. He got his paper and pen. He asked me if I had any questions. Like, nope, don't have any questions. Just following along. This is a pretty good story right here. So that particular day, he said, I date to get married. No, he said, I date to marry. I said, okay, cool. But it's not our first rodeo, so you date to marry. All right. And then he said, we can get married December the 31st. And we can get married here in the house. And you can invite some of your family, and I invite some of my family. And I was like, okay, that's cool. He said, well, do you know a pastor? And I did. So then that wasn't hard. And the pastor said he was willing to come to the house, like, because it wanted to be like from right at midnight, ringing into the new year. So all these plans he making, but I never got a ring. But I'm still thinking about it. I never got an engagement ring, but I'm still okay. I'm engaged, but I have no ring. But anyway, this is how relationships go. If you allow it to, this is how you go. So I wanted him to make all the decisions. All the decisions was his. I was just agreeing, because in the back of my mind, the way things were going, in the back of my mind, and knowing what I know about him, I knew the point was going to come where he was going to back out. So I said, okay. So then I didn't take anything over to his house other than what I had for the first couple of weeks. And then I said, okay, I'm going home tomorrow. He said, oh, no, do you have to? I was like, no, I don't have to. So I stayed. And then he would order me clothes. Some clothes coming this week, some clothes coming every day. I think I had a package coming every day for like I don't know how many days I was over, 30, 60 days I was over there. I had a package coming almost every day. So later on, the only things that I brought from my house was maybe my personal stuff, underwear, lingerie, that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? I guess this story gonna have to continue next week. So join me again next week for Bedroom Chronicles on YouTube, live stream, and Roku. Also, don't forget $TV 1061 Cash App. Highly appreciate all donations. Until next time, please tune in and hear the story of Jimmy. Hi, I'm your host, Mercury's Rises, and welcome to Bedroom Chronicles, the show where couples or singles go deep, cut the crap, and face the real questions that make or break relationships. The show is informative and mesmerizing. Tonight, we are putting love on the hot seat. Are they being honest with each other, or are they just saying what is safe? Let's find out if real love starts when real truth is spoken. We have call-in guests and live interviews. Whether you heal together or apart, you owe each other honesty. That's it for tonight's Bedroom Chronicles. Until the next time, don't fake the love, face the truth.